A TV program introduces Hiroki Sawada, a 10-year-old computer prodigy. The reporter explains that Hiroki is already in graduate school at MIT. He has developed a DNA tracker software and is now about to complete his second major project, an artificial mind called Noah's Arkansas. Since Hiroki's mother died, he has been looked after by Thomas Schindler, CEO of Schindler Incorporated, an influential software company. Schindler recognized Hiroki's enormous talent and encouraged him to develop it further, putting him under a rigorous study program with little free time or time to be a child. Hiroki, who has been watching the program about himself, turns his TV off and goes back to his computer, putting the finishing touches on Noah's Arkansas. Once he is satisfied, he sends the artificial intelligence on his way, and his computer shows the message Noah's Ark sailed away, which also triggers an alarm in the building he is working in. A security guard notices the alarm and calls Thomas Schindler. Together, they try to enter Hiroki's room. When they finally manage to open the door, Hiroki is nowhere to be found. Dismayed, Schindler sees Hiroki's shoes on the balcony and has to conclude the inevitable: Hiroki committed suicide by jumping off the balcony. His computer screen shows a sailing boat, Noah's Ark, on water and a message that reads, "Goodbye from Hiroki." 2 years later, Schindler Incorporated presents its newest product at Bika City Hall, a virtual reality game system called Cocoon. Many children attend the presentation, hoping they are among the lucky ones who are allowed to test Cocoon for the first time. To be included among the first players, the children have to obtain a special badge that was quite expensive. Conan, Ayumi, Genta, Hibara, and Mitsuhiko watch the crowd sadly, realizing none of them could afford to pay for it. When Professor Agasa and Yusaku Kudo join them, Agasa hands Conan a badge and says it was paid for his parents, and that his mother Yukiko could not join them because she has a class reunion. The other detective boys trade golden Kamen Yaiba cards with some other children in exchange for a Cocoon badge. So, all 5 of them end up being called up for the game tests. Meanwhile, CEO Schindler gets into an argument with Tadaki Kashimura, one of his top programmers, in the basement of City Hall. Schindler stabs Kashimura fatally, then uses CD data theft and leaves. In his dying moments, Kashimura dips his finger into his own blood and leaves a message for the police. He presses the letters J, T, and R on the keyboard before he sinks back, dead. Conan finds the body and decides to actually join the Cocoon test as well, recognizing that there might be a clue to the murderer's identity in the game. Yusaku, who was consulted by Kashimura when they developed the game, realizes JTR has to mean Jack the Ripper. Among great interest from the audience, Cocoon is turned on and the children are instructed to sit into special chairs fitted with virtual reality glasses. Thomas Schindler explains that participants in Cocoon are put into a trance-like state to fully immerse themselves in the game. Suddenly, the system comes alive and a computer-generated voice explains that it is Noah's Ark and has taken control of the program to reset Japan. Most of the children participating in the game come from wealthy and influential families, and Noah's Ark explains that it is challenging that status quo. 2 parents try to get their children out of the chairs, but a sudden burst of electricity shocks them as they try to open the cover of the seats. Noah's Ark further explains that it has modified the virtual games so they are more challenging and the children have to play them. If all children fail, the artificial intelligence will kill them with an electromagnetic burst, EMP, but they are allowed to leave if one child wins their game. The participants are told they can choose between 5 different virtual reality, VR, levels of the game: Vikings, Paris-Dakar Rally, Colosseum, Solomon's Treasure, and Old Time London. Conan, Ran and the detective boys choose level 5, a mystery set in 19th century London. The game starts and Conan discovers he can't use Agasa's inventions. Professor Agasa is able to communicate with Conan and sends him a hint which makes Conan realize that Sherlock Holmes is the supporting character they have to find. Near 221B, Baker Street, a vagrant plays the accordion and sings an odd song. The children don't pay him any attention. Mrs. Hudson mistakes the children for the Baker Street irregulars and invites them into 221B, Baker Street, explaining that Holmes and Watson left for Dartmoor a day earlier. Ran has a look through Holmes' notes and realizes he is investigating Jack the Ripper, which, as Conan immediately figures out, means the serial killer must be connected to Professor Moriarty. Finding the criminal mastermind is next to impossible, so Conan tells everyone they will have to seek out his right-hand man, Colonel Sebastian Moran. Luckily, Colonel Moran spends his afternoons at one and the same gentleman's club, so they know where to go. At the club, they end up in a brawl and Ayumi, Genta, and Mitsuhiko have to quit the game. Conan forces the colonel into a standoff, but before he can reply, an elderly man enters the room and tells Conan that Professor Moriarty has sent for them. A carriage driver leads them to a carriage and tells them it will bring everyone to Moriarty. Conan exposes the driver's identity. It is nobody other than Professor Moriarty himself. Moriarty reveals that he feels responsible for Jack the Ripper's crimes. He took the boy in when he was living on the streets, and Jack the Ripper learned a lot of the tricks of the trade from the master criminal. Professor Moriarty wants to play a part in bringing Jack the Ripper down and announces he will post a message to Jack in the following day's newspapers, requesting him to kill someone. He refuses to name the newest target, saying the children will figure it out once they read his message. Moriarty keeps his promise and, reading through the message, Conan deduces that Moriarty has put a prize on the head of Irene Adler, a famous actress and, famously, the only woman Sherlock Holmes ever respected. At the same time, in the real world, Yusaku announces he has solved Kashimura's murder. He explains that Kashimura, his old college friend, didn't just recruit him to help with the Cocoon Games, he also wanted Yusaku to investigate the suicide of Hiroki Sawada, Kashimura's son. Kashimura was killed by Thomas Schindler. Schindler was also responsible for Hiroki's suicide. Through his research for his DNA program, Hiroki discovered the DNA of Jack the Ripper's confirmed second victim on a dagger that apparently belonged to the notorious serial killer and was now in Schindler's possession. Schindler realized it was only a matter of time before Hiroki would realize Schindler was a direct descendant of Jack the Ripper and pressured Hiroki further, leading to his suicide. He killed Kashimura because he found out Noah's Ark had sent Hiroki's research to Kashimura. Schindler confesses everything and is arrested by the police. In the meantime, 2 more children fail level 5 while protecting Irene Adler. Hyper protects Conan and fails the game as well. Out of all 50 players, only Ran, Conan, and a boy named Hideki Moriboshi remain. The 3 of them follow Jack the Ripper to a runaway train from London Charing Cross, where he, in disguise, mixes in with the other passengers. Conan sees through his disguise, with the help of the notes taken from Holmes' office. Jack the Ripper throws a smoke bomb to escape when Ran tries to attack him. Once the smoke clears, all the passengers have disappeared. Conan and Hideki hurry to the engine room and realize the train is speeding up dangerously and someone destroyed the brakes. Jack the Ripper has taken Ran hostage and waits for Conan and Hideki on top of the train, revealing he has tied himself to Ran with a rope. Ran decides to sacrifice herself and jumps off the train, taking Jack the Ripper with her. The train still races down the tracks and Conan starts to panic. Just then, the vagrant, actually a disguised Sherlock Holmes, appears on top of the train and gives Conan and Hideki advice that helps them to survive. The train crashes into King's Cross railway station. Conan wins the game and tells Hideki he knows he is an avatar created by Hiroki Sawada / Noah's Ark. The Ark explains he actually created this game so he could play with some friends, something Hiroki never could do while he was alive. Hiroki says goodbye to Conan, but before Noah's Ark deletes itself, it announces that it actually knows Conan is Shinichi Kudo. The game ends and the children are released from Cocoon. Yusaku congratulates Conan on his win. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. Remember to like, share and subscribe to support our channel, and don't forget to press the notification bell button to not miss upcoming interesting videos. See you later.